Hello everybody, I'm Miss Lisa, and welcome back to another Kids Day. Normally we do Kids Day in person at the MAC on the last Saturday of the month. And we'll have a fun event, some kind of an art project for kids to do, and it's free for the public. You can come along and just enjoy yourselves. So look out for that in the announcements for the MAC. But we are still, at this moment, doing our Kids Day virtually because the MAC is still closed due to the pandemic. So we are going to be continuing with our Art Around the World series. And today we are going to be visiting China. So here we are in California. We're going to go all the way across the Pacific Ocean to China. And we are going to be learning about Chinese New Year. And you might be thinking to yourself, I thought that was already past. And you're right, because Chinese New Year this year was on February 12th. In different years, it falls on different days, sometime near the beginning of our year. But this year, it's February 12th, and it always ends 2 weeks after the date of Chinese New Year. So 2 weeks after is today. And we are going to be doing the Lantern Festival today because that's how Chinese New Year celebrations end. They do all sorts of things for these 2 weeks, including visiting friends and family, seeing dragon dances and lion dances, and eating wonderful meals, setting off firecrackers, and enjoying time with family. There are also specific foods that get eaten, and there's a tradition of passing out red envelopes. So red envelopes contain money in them, and it's fun for you to give and receive red envelopes at Chinese New Year. But the Lantern Festival finishes the whole event. And it's a beautiful time of year where everybody goes out at night with children take paper lanterns out, and adults, families go out to look at the lanterns that are being let into the air or just hanging from shop windows and things like this. It's a beautiful time, and everything is lit up. Now, it's probably not that way this year, right? Because you're not supposed to really be walking around outside together. But hopefully next year, or at least the year after that, everybody can go back to having lantern festivals as they remember them. What I'm going to do with you today is show you how to make your own paper lantern. And it looks like this. And you can carry it by the handle, and maybe if you make one and your brother and sister make one too, you can all walk around your house with your lantern tonight. Now, this lantern is not like the one we made for Vietnamese Lantern Festival. That one, we actually had the little flame, the little candle flame. Do you remember that? And we put that inside a different lantern that we hung on a stick. This one we're going to pretend is a lit lantern, and that's what the yellow paper inside is supposed to represent. It looks like a candle might be burning inside, doesn't it? Look at that. So I'm going to show you how to make this one, and you can enjoy the Lantern Festival tonight. So we are going to get started with the project, and I'm going to tell you what you will need. You're going to need a piece of red construction paper and a piece of yellow construction paper. The yellow construction paper we're going to cut into a smaller piece. This is a standard 12 by 9 inch rectangle. And we also need a piece of red construction paper, the same size, 9 by 12 inches. And we're going to cut the red construction paper into 2 pieces that are smaller. One piece is going to be 1 by 12 inches, and the remaining piece will be 8 by 12 inches. So I'll show you that in a minute. We are also going to need some scissors, therefore, and a pencil, and a ruler, and some Scotch tape. And it's also useful to have a stapler, and I'll show you why. You might also want to have some felt pens or something like that on hand to do a little bit of decorating on your lantern before we assemble it. And I might show you how to do that today as well. So let's start by cutting the paper into the size that we will need. Our red paper, again, I need an 8 by 12 inch piece and an 8 by 12 inch piece and a 1 by 12 inch piece. And we're going to keep both pieces. So this is 9 inches long by 12 inches wide. So I'm just going to make a mark at 1 inch. And I'm going to mark the same 1 inch on the other side. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along this line. When you use scissors, always remember to be careful to think about the hand that's holding the paper. Don't get your fingers too close to the scissor blades. And when you're walking with scissors, always remember to hold the tips in your hand. Never run with scissors. Okay, so now we have these two pieces of paper and we're going to use them both. I'm going to take my yellow piece of paper and I need an 8.5 by 12 inch rectangle. So I'm going to measure. Did I say 8.5? I mean 6.5. 6.5. 6.5 on the other side. Draw a line. I'm going to cut along that line with my scissors. Okay, and we have this. Turn that down. So we have this rectangle, and we have this rectangle. We don't need this one, so we'll just set that aside for a different art project. And we're left with a red rectangle, a yellow rectangle, and the strip of paper. Now, if you're going to decorate your lantern, this is a good time to do it. And as you can see, the pattern is going to be something that's going to be split into segments. So let's think about something that would look good when it's cut into segments. So I'm thinking maybe a design of spirals. I'm just varying the size. Some of them are a little bit larger. Some of them are smaller. Okay, so this is my pattern. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the paper so that my pattern is inside. I'm going to take my ruler. Let's look at this paper now. The pattern's inside, and there's the folded edge, and this is the open edge. Folded edge, open edge. And we're going to take the open edge, and we're going to draw a line, not all the way to the end. Let's draw a line like so. So it starts here and ends here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to draw lines like this, spaced apart by 1 inch. So we're going to do that by marking off 1 inch along this line and marking off 1 inch along the fold and then connecting the dots. So let's do that now. I know this is 12 inches wide because that's how the paper started, as a 9 by 12 inch rectangle. So I'm going to mark each inch along this line. I'm also going to mark each inch along the fold. So these horizontal lines are going right to the edge of the paper, the folded edge. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut along these lines, but we're going to stop when we get to the other line, the line on the other side. So what you can do is take a pen or a crayon and just mark this a little bit darker so you remember not to cut over this part. Like cut, 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 stop. 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 So we'll start here. Stop. Stop. Now, if you accidentally cut all the way through one of these, if you accidentally go all the way through, it's okay because we have Scotch tape. Just put a piece of tape over the part that went through and you'll be fine. So let's open this up now and see what it looks like. You can see our pattern there, all those spirals, and we can see lots of cuts in the paper. I'm just going to turn this the other way now because I want it to fold the other direction. I'm going to do this before I continue because I want to decrease this paper in this direction. Now I'm going to open it. I'm going to take my yellow piece of paper and I'm going to tape it so that there's about 1/4 of an inch of red paper showing, just a little bit. Do you see that? You don't have to measure it, but just about that much red paper. And we're just going to tape that together. You can also glue this. You can glue this part together only at the edges here. Go along this edge and glue it down. But you'll have to use paper clips or something to hold it in place while it dries, because we're going to be rolling this into a cylinder shape, and if the glue isn't dried, it's going to start coming apart at that point. So I'm just going to tape it to make it a little bit easier for this demonstration. I'm going to turn my paper around now and see how there's this big piece of red showing. I'm going to pull this together so that there's, again, about that same 1/8 strip of red paper showing. And I'm going to tape it again. I'm using about 5 or 6 pieces of tape here. So now it kind of sticks out like this, kind of like a house, right? And now we're going to curl this around like this, and look what happens. As we curl this around, the middle bit sticks out, and we get that lovely lantern shape. And I'm going to tape here. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my stapler across these two sides, and again across the two sides. So now it looks like this, which is cool, but we don't have any way to carry it, do we? So that's what the strip is for. We're going to make a nice handle with the strip. So I'm just going to come over here and put one more staple in. And then on the other side, I'm going to line it up. You can tell if it's not centered because when you look at it directly, it won't be in the middle. So move this other side around until it's directly in front of the other side of the handle. And then put another staple. You can also tape this. And there you go. So we have a nice handmade paper lantern that we are going to imagine is lit with a flame and glows beautifully. It's decorated with spirals. You can decorate it with flowers. I tried to do a dragon earlier, but I found that the dragon, when you cut it into slits, it doesn't look so good because it's too long of a design. It needs to be something that's smaller, maybe flowers or spirals, something of this nature. So there we go. Now, another thing that happens with these lanterns is that people will write riddles or poems. Sometimes they write poems on the outside of the lantern. Sometimes they hang a riddle from their lantern. And people can go around and try to solve the riddles. And I've seen pictures. Of course, I've not been to China, but when I was researching this on the internet, there are pictures of a lot of lanterns hanging from, looks like from stores or from just a big display of lanterns with all of these riddles that there's one hanging from each lantern. And if you solve the riddle, you can go to the person that made that lantern and they give you a little prize. So that's kind of cool too. There's a lot of wordplay in Chinese. So a lot of words sound like other words, and it's a really good way to make riddles and to have a lot of fun with words. Now the colors red and gold are very important, and that's why we made our lantern red. Red is a very powerful color in China, very popular color for New Year's. And I don't know if I remember to tell you that over 20% of the world's population celebrates Chinese New Year. That's quite a lot of the population, isn't it? It's like more than, when I say more than 20%, that would be more than 1/5 of the total population of the world celebrates Chinese New Year. And it's just something that's really nice to know about. And now when someone says, oh, it's Chinese New Year, you'll have an idea of what that means. This is the year of the ox. It was the year of the rat. Now we're in the year of the ox. And next year, after Chinese New Year, we'll be in a different year. So there are a lot of different aspects of Chinese New Year that are very interesting. And over time, you'll pick them up. I hope you enjoy this class. And I hope you learned something about China and Chinese New Year. Now, next month, we are going back to the last Saturday of the month, and we are going to be going to Africa virtually again. So we are going to be taking a virtual trip to Ghana, which is this country here, and we're going to be learning about kente cloth. So I look forward to seeing you then. Make sure that you wash your hands well. Make sure that you wear your mask when you go outside. And if you have construction paper at home and scissors, tape, and maybe a stapler, here's a fun project for you to do today. Until next time, take care, and that's all for now. Goodbye.